we'll happily field some questions from you. Johnny.
Thanks very much, John Longo, for giving us that commentary as we went along. I don't know what we'd have done. We'd have had to get him to give the commentary, but John, you did it fantastically well. Now, gentlemen, your questions. Yeah.
Have you ever been to see a psychiatrist?
They've given up on me. I've actually got a guy, my swim squad, who's a psychologist. He's written a book and he wanted me to write stuff there. I said, I don't read. I'm into psychiatry. I'm a simple man. I switched my brain off and kept going. Yeah, so no help. They couldn't help me.
I noticed at one stage when you were sitting in the car, they were putting your shoes on again for you.
Yeah.
They were using Vaseline.
Yeah.
Now, do you wear 2 pairs of socks?
Oh, well, what I did is I brought 3 or 4 pairs of runners. So, with just a theory that the crew came up with that the runner gets squashed the more you go. So I thought they'd put a fresh pair on and revas my feet every 40 or 50k. So that was the theory. No, I don't know if it worked, but it was just.
You didn't put one pair of socks on top of another.
Well, I know they had a great job of Vaseline my smelly feet, and
Right.
putting new socks on.
Yeah.
They drew the short straws there, and yeah. So every 40 or 50k we took my socks off and revased my feet for blisters, and put a fresh pair of runners on.
Right.
So just with the theory being that the newer runner would be less compressed,
Yeah.
the rubber sole. So that was the theory with that.
Thank you.
Could I please ask, how many litres of water would you drink in, say, 20?
Oh, I'm pretty bad with water. I don't really like water, so I was feeding. What was it? How often was I feeding?
Oh, every 40 minutes, Johnny.
Yeah, before it was actually very cold. You missed all the commentary there. It was actually we were back for a hurricane from America, so everyone who was booked to swim the channel that week cancelled. So and even the relay teams didn't go, which is 6 people only have to do an hour each because we're on a big 8-metre tide and we're back of the hurricane. So it was. I actually prefer the cold, but it was a cold day and raining and windy. So that actually suited me, so I wasn't sweating a lot. So this year I went, it was like 31 degrees and it's really high humidity, and I actually prefer it cold. But yeah, so I'm not sure how much I drank, but I didn't really sweat a lot, so that actually kind of suited me.
Now, how was the attempt financed, and what was the size of your support group?
Oh, it's a massive finance. It's probably about $70,000. So that time we had a quiet learning and a few silent sponsors as well. So because we flew 6 people over, and the entry fees are probably about $10,000. Because you got to pay the Channel Association, you got to pay Edgar. We had to hire support cars, and so accommodation for everyone. So that's all part of it. With the channel, you pay the boatman probably about $5,000 or so for the channel part. And so yeah, it's not a cheap, easy. A lot of logistics, and I had a fantastic crew. Big Johnny and everyone. So they did a lot of. I hate paperwork, so they did all the paperwork for me, and things like the runners and things like that. They went over all different scenarios. And I was very lucky. I had a fantastic crew.
To make the issue a comparable timing with competitors, is there any check on drugs to cover that one?
What's with drugs? Oh, well, no, probably needed drugs, that would have helped. I had a lot of McDonald's, I tell you that. We missed out on the video too, because I had about 5 McDonald's food stops during the bike. So it's funny because apparently a lot of people attempted and not many finished. So the organiser of the event said so many triathletes start off having this, Gatorade, all these plans and sports drinks, and about 80k in the run, they just say, just get me fish and chips or a hamburger, because they're craving, like salt and sugar and real food. So I was that stuffed. All I could feel like was McDonald's, and so that got quite a good laugh on the video with the audio, because I kept saying, "Oh, can I have some more McDonald's?" And Johnny would go ahead in the car, and I'd say, "Oh, can I get a Big Mac?" And he'd go ahead and come back, and I'd stop on the side of the road and eat the hamburger, but you just kind of. So not the best drugs, but yeah.
Yes.
Can you explain what goes through your mind when you do a swim like that? Because that's a long time.
Oh, yeah. It's a real roller coaster. You try and switch your brain off and not think too much, but obviously you have a lot of bad moments. And 2 hours into the swim, I was getting a bit frustrated because it was a very awkward chop. Wasn't your body? I couldn't get my body in a stable position. Like my arm would be there, my leg would be here, my head would be here. It was like I was getting ragdolled, so couldn't really switch my brain off. I just felt like I was getting ragdolled the whole time. So I said to the boatman, is this going to get any better? I was hoping, to give me a bit of positive, feedback. And he said, I thought you were a swimmer. Swim! It was a bit of tough love, and I thought, oh, yeah, fair enough. So I got going again. I had a good patch, and then right at the end, I had a really bad patch again because I turned too early. I saw a lighthouse, and that was the closest point. And I had earplugs I couldn't hear. I just darted off towards the lighthouse where I was supposed to swim further in. So I actually was swimming against the tide. So the last 400 metres took me about 25 minutes to half an hour. I was just sprinting. I couldn't get in. I could see the rocks, and even with 10 metres to go, I was trying to get in. So that's why I was so exhausted after the swim, because we swam on an 8.5 metre tide, which is the biggest tide you can get with the back of the hurricane, because we only booked it a year out, so that was the only tide free, and then I had the wind against the tide as well, so the channel swim was the hardest channel swim I've ever done. It was harder than my double crossing, so it was a tough window.
How do you adjust your stroke rate when you're swimming and know what strokes you should do?
Oh, it's all kind of training, so I have, like, Johnny's on the boat with a whiteboard, counting my strokes, and he'll give me feedback saying you're doing, 80 strokes a minute, which I try and stay at about 80 strokes a minute. So that's when I'm swimming at my best, but obviously you have bad moments where you drop off, and Johnny sees me dropping off, and he'll stop the boat and say, let's get some sugar into him. So I feed every 20 minutes, but if you're really having a flat period, sometimes you've got to stop and have a quick feed again, just to get your sugar levels up. Because you're just trying to keep your sugar levels as stable as you can. And, it's really a one-off effort where, it probably took you 6 months to recover after all that. So it's not a natural thing to do, but for 60 hours in your life, you just put up with it and just get through it.
Have you got a target time for your attempt in August?
Yeah, I was hoping to break 50 hours this time, so because I had a tough window last time. So last time I went off a 24-hour turnaround after the run, so that was the start of the high tide. So you've got to backlog X amount of hours, how long you think the run will take and how much rest you need. So last time I ran 15:52, got an extra 5k, so I ended up running 145k. Well, the Frenchman ran 19 hours something, and he left off 24 hours as well. And then he swam 3 hours slower with, and he had 5 hours less rest after the swim, but he had a beautiful swim day. So I think if I get a nice swim day in a smaller current, I could swim 3 or 4 hours quicker and take 5 or 6 hours rest off as well. And I doubt I'll have the massive headwinds again on the bike, and I'll have hill climbing gears this time. So I think I can take another 10 to 15 hours off that time. So, but it's easier said than done, obviously.
How do you actually eat in the water without taking a gulpful of water?
Good question at the start. I actually never swallow water. I'm pretty lucky. There's a trick. You take shallow breaths and swallow water. But yeah, I'm basically pretty much just having fluids for the swim. So just sports drinks. And if I'm really struggling, I'll have some more food with a bit more substance, like baked beans. But if you eat food, it takes a long time to get down. So I try and feed every 20 minutes, but not cut my rest times down. Otherwise, it all adds up.
Why do you do it? Do you do it for rewards, financial rewards, or?
Not financial rewards, that's for sure. No, I just like to challenge my body and see what one thing leads to the next. You start with a 20k swim race, and you think, geez, I did that. And then you see a 30k swim race, and you do that. And then this came up, and so just one thing leads to the next. I just want to test myself out. Certainly not for money. And,
you must make a living.
Oh, not out of this. No. I don't make any money out of that. It's just I'm a swim coach, so.
Yeah. You're not calling for donations.
No, I didn't make any money out of this. It's just I'm a swim.
John, you've been fantastic. You're a great friend of mine.
Thanks, Roger. Thanks, mate.
Canada. But when you decided to start running from the arch, didn't you know that you were going to go to a terrible lot of water over there from Dover?
Yeah, we had no choice. So basically, you
Because
get,
of the window.
you get a week's window. So you book your window in, and whatever the weather is, that's your you know what size the tide's going to be. So we knew it was going to be a big tide because we only booked it a year out, and that was the only tide available. So we knew it was going to be a massive tide, but we didn't know we were going to be the back end of a hurricane. So we were there waiting for days and days, and it looked like we weren't even going to get a window. And then there was a small window opening up, and the boatman gave me the opportunity because I'd done a double crossing with him without a wetsuit, so I knew I could swim okay. So he gave us a window where everybody else cancelled, so no solo swimmers went out or no relay teams went out, so I knew I'd be swimming in terrible conditions, but that was the only chance I had, so I had to just pull the trigger and go. I had no choice.
Supplementary question, does somebody own this competition?
Yeah, the guy on there that John was talking about, Edgar Edgy, he was the very first man to actually do the event, ex-British Commando, and he runs the company called Enduroman, so they run a lot of crazy triathlons, you know, like 10 Ironmans in 10 days and things like that. And the Arch Shark's his crown jewel of all his ultra events. So you pay him a fee and you pay the English Channel Association a fee, and the two working together. And he was my observer, so he shows you the course and makes sure you're not cutting corners and cheating and things like that. So we were lucky to have Edgar as our observer. He was just a fantastic man. So we become good friends with Edgar too, and he's keen for me to try and get the record back, and because his English doesn't like the French. So Edgar, we were really lucky. Edgar's a great man. Yeah. So.
How many people in a year attempt what you have achieved? And second, do we get any ladies having a go at it?
Yeah.
And the third thing is the swimming the most strenuous leg of it?
Oh, good question. The whole thing's hard. Start with the run. The run's like 140k, but it's very undulating, and you have to stop at traffic lights and let cars go by. You've got to do your own directions at stages. Like I was running at night, and basically I'm carrying a high vision flash torch because I don't know where my feet are landing, so I'm watching every step I land in. And then if a car comes, like there were parts where the nature strip was this high, so I'm running on the opposite side of the road looking for potholes. And if a car came, which was every 2 or 3 minutes, I'd have to climb onto the nature strip like that. Let the car go by and climb back down again, and that's like 100k into the event. So it's not like you're just running on Beach Road, we can switch your brain off. So the start with the run is just brutal because you're going up and down hills looking for potholes, you know, climbing up things to let cars go by, and then waiting for, you know, directions, because Edgar will drive 2k ahead and say, you know, well, I can't get through this town, but when you see it, you know, this McDonald's, keep running straight or turn left here. So you can't really switch your brain off, you're always, you know, looking around. So yeah, the run's pretty hard, and that really kills you. The English Channel just by itself, Fresh only has a 20% success rate, so the channel, you know, is pretty hard. So you've got to work out how long you'll think the run will take you and how much rest you need after the run, you know, to attempt the channel. So when I actually did it off the 24-hour turnaround, Edgar was telling me, you know, that's impossible. You can't run under 16 hours over this course. You can't do it off 24 hours. So I had a lot of doubts in my head because he was telling me no one's ever got near that. And then since I did it now, the Frenchman ran 3 hours slower. He left off 24 hours as well. And then he swam 3 hours slower, but then he cut the rest down after the swim. So people are always trying to take time off, and yeah, a lot of people attempt it every week in summer for 4 months. So I think about 25ish have finished. So there's probably one woman finished this year. So I think she's the first woman. She took like 100 hours or something like that. So, but she still finished it. So it was a massive effort. And she's the only one who's actually finished it since the Frenchman broke the record. So yeah, so I say probably 1% finish it.
Well, I think we'll stop there. We've gone over our usual time, but I think we had to hear John, and it's been absolutely magnificent. And by the way, guys, triathlon training starts 6 a.m. in the pool next Monday, and John's offered free lessons if you turn up at 6 a.m. Right, John? 5:15, sorry, 5:15. I'll ask Gary Larkin now to propose a vote of thanks.
What an honour and an achievement you've done. I had a quick look on the net this morning, and your accolades in regards to the triathlons that you've done, New York, Germany, Hawaii, here in Australia. And I was speaking to John earlier, you still hold the double crossing of the English Channel, and only recently the single one has been beaten. Is that right? I think it's absolutely marvellous. We're in the company of someone very special. On behalf of the Morris Probus, I would like to say thank you for coming, and we are so lucky to for John Locko for narrating this. You did a marvellous job, John. Thanks again. Thank you.
You're going to have to share that bottle with John, because he did a lot more talking than you, but thank goodness you came. Yeah. I'd like to have a photograph with you two guys. It'd be very nice to be the smallest between you. But that's the end of our meeting, gentlemen. Our last meeting here at this venue. I think we will have lunch as usual in a few minutes. But our next meeting, 16th of January, at our new venue at the Banksia Oval Pavilion, the new pavilion. We'll see you all then.